Hey, welcome to the Voice of San Diego Friday 5 live at 5. Voice of San Diego at home. Haven't done this in a while. It's a little stumbly, a little clumsy. We're all right. Welcome back to the Friday 5 live at 5. Got a lot to go through. Crazy week. I'm in that spectrum of despair where you're kind of punch drunk and laughing about it. That's where I am. Not sure about you. I want to hear from you. Have you filled out your ballots? Have you decided who to vote for mayor, for county supervisor, all those things? Have you got any questions on the ballot measures, local? I can kind of handle some statewide ones, but whatever, we can figure it out. We can figure it out together. If I don't know the answer, I'll put it in there. Have you voted though? I want to hear. There have been 355,000 votes already sent into the registrar of voters. That's about 19% of the registered voters in this county of San Diego. 355,000 people have already voted. There's 1.9 million in the county of San Diego. 1.9 million. It's a lot of us. A lot of people voting. And of course, you voted. Nancy voted. Nancy Lawson voted for all the right candidates. Yeah. Are some of you, does anybody ever vote and they get everything wrong? Like everyone loses? That's pretty good sometimes. All right, we've got a great show tonight. We're going to talk about the voting. That was my number one, actually. Voting. 355,000 people so far have voted. Remember, you can vote. 76% or so of people were already mail-in voters, and now the other 24% got the ballots in the mail. You can take them to one of the mini drop-off locations, and then the super centers will be open. So places like 2,000 minimum square feet, fully staffed, those super center polling stations will be open October 31st. So you have 3 ways to vote. You can take it to the drop-off, you can mail it in, and you can go to the super center polling stations. 355,000 people already voted. What they do is they put those envelopes through with your signature on. They compare your signature to other signatures they have on file, including your DMV and your previous ballot. So better keep your signature the same. I don't know how many of you shift it up sometimes. Better hold that back. It's been a weird time in the coastal areas. We've had a lot of fog come in. This is kind of eerie. They've been doing some work on the jetty there in Ocean Beach, the Dog Beach area. But it looks all industrial and dystopian kind of. It was very nice though. I love the fog. There's been these fog bows, rainbows that are fog generated. You get it? You get the name there? Rainbow fogs, fog rainbows. Lot of fun with those with the dogs. I love the dogs out there. Good dogs. Look at the puppy. Puppy's now a dog. All right, number 2 on this week, we are going to talk about schools. I did a piece the other day about this, your breath. Your breath. Some of you have been on this show with Kim Prather, the UC San Diego Scripps Institution of Oceanography scientist, atmospheric chemist. She studies atmospheric chemistry. She knows how viruses make their way through the air. And as we're finding out about the coronavirus disease, it spreads largely in the air. This kind of stuff, aerosols through the air in mostly enclosed places with bad ventilation. I wrote about this in voiceofsandiego.org. I actually did reporting, called people, took notes. I did all the things you do with reporting. And I did a piece on how to open schools. First of all, you try to get stuff outside. If you can't get it outside, you focus on ventilation. Focus on ventilation, air filtration, and then masks. Because what we're dealing with is all this stuff that comes out of your mouth. There's a whole spectrum of stuff that comes out of your mouth. I learned about this. Ballistic droplets come out of your mouth. And those are the ones that created the 6-foot rule, because when they come out, they go out, they're flying all over here. They go out, they land about 2 to 6 feet away. Those are ballistic droplets. Now, what else comes out, though, is a bunch of aerosols. And those do not fall to the ground. The 6-foot rule's got nothing on them. And they spread much like cigarette smokes spread. So I really tried to draw this analogy out. You control coronavirus the same way you control cigarette smoking. If you want to smoke and not have it bother too many people, you go outside. If you can't go outside, you get some good ventilation. With the ventilation, you put in filters. And then, last resort, you put a mask on the smoker. Can you imagine doing that? Just be like, hey, you're going to need to wear a mask if you're going to do that. It's disgusting. Masks, filtration, ventilation. I did a piece at Voice San Diego. I encourage you to look at it. But the one thing I also learned that they talked about was plexiglass, maybe not the best. Plexiglass, maybe not the best. That's from Lafayette Elementary, where the school district, San Diego Unified, was touting its opening for special needs students, who are students with special needs who, they're falling behind. They get the appointment-based learning at some of these schools. We're going to talk about that in a second. But one of the things that Kim Prather, again, these are scientists who are advising San Diego Unified. One of the things they said is that you should be careful with the plexiglass. The plexiglass can actually inhibit the ventilation and cause more harm. The most important thing is ventilation. Now, it's good to have plexiglass if you're right there, you're sneezing, you're coughing, you're blowing these ballistic droplets on it. That's okay. But unless they're the big ones that stick right there, you want them to ventilate. You want them to ventilate. And if you create too many plexiglass barriers, you're going to find yourself creating pools of the virus in the air in your areas. So stop it with the plexiglass. Now, San Diego Unified already spent a bunch of money on the plexiglass, I think. Maybe there's a plexiglass side market we could unload some of that stuff on. But the most important thing is the air. The super spreader events that they've discussed are, largely like a choir practice in Washington. One person goes in sick. And about half the 122 people who were there come out sick. And that's because it went not just ballistic droplets, but into the air. It was poorly ventilated, and then they sucked it in. So if you want to do it, air. That's what we're learning about. Not necessarily plexiglass. The sneeze guardification of our lives needs to stop. It causes more harm sometimes than good. But masks, 100%. 100%. I used to be kind of not sure about masks. 100%. Just wear a mask. All right. Give me your questions again. Did you vote? Did you? Look, Kelly says, I started that article extremely skeptical and managed. Look at that. I moved somebody. Thanks, Kelly Abbott. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to weep a little bit. All right. So I really appreciate if you check out that story and let me know what you think. All right. Number 2 is about these efforts to open these schools. So, we already talked about my article, but the mayor and the teachers union today, get this, San Diego Mayor, Republican Kevin Faulconer, and the teachers union, San Diego Education Association, sent a letter to the governor saying this: we're writing to request COVID-19 diagnostic tests to support in-person instruction at San Diego Unified. Specifically, we request no less than 10,000 diagnostic tests per day, or no less than 50,000 COVID diagnostic tests per week. Now, just to put that in perspective, again, that's San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer joining up with the teachers union and demanding tests of more than we already test right now for everybody, for just San Diego Unified. So on the one hand, I am stoked that the mayor is getting involved, trying to pull people together, trying to work with the teachers, trying to work with the county. I love it. I've been calling on all politicians to prioritize education and the crisis we face right now, and love it that somebody's getting involved. Little worried that asking for 10,000 tests per day is going to be a pretext to continue to delay, because I don't know if they can get to 10,000. They can't even get to 10,000 for just the whole region, let alone for one subset of the region. Hopefully, they've got a plan. They'll rally to get there, and the governor does what he can to get there. Along with that, our number 3 story of the day is about that first reopening effort. Will Huntsberry, our Will Huntsberry, has done a story at Voice of San Diego. Check it out. It is really interesting, really good. Yet I'm busy, guys. You have to either say hi or leave. Some schools have no teachers willing to return for phase 1 reopening. That's the headline. Some schools have no teachers willing to return for phase 1 reopening. Now, San Diego Unified announced about a month ago that they were going to open up for the kids with the most needs, that kids with severe hearing impairments or severe learning disabilities that were falling behind because of this online learning situation. They were going to create appointments to have them come back. But one crucial thing is that they made it voluntary for teachers to go. And a lot of schools are not seeing their teachers return to support this. In one communication to parents, this is Will Huntsberry's reporting, in Point Loma, a group of 9 principals directly responded to the claim that that some kids would be able to go all day, every day. They said the idea that some school students might be able to come back all day, every day, quote, does not apply, but rather applies to future phases of reopening. So some kind of miscommunication going on with the school district. One of the worries, though, that we have, look, if you're going to have some kids go and get this special service, but then you can't get it at other schools, I mean, there's an obvious inherent inequity there. And I guess that's what happens when you leave it voluntary for parents or for teachers to go back. So a little rocky of a start. Hope they figure it out. We're all rooting for them. And like I said, the mayor is involved. Apparently, the mayor, the teachers union, and the school superintendent and the county have been meeting every week for the last 3 weeks to try to figure out what to do to get schools open. Should we send them some chocolates, some pizza? Get it, please. What do you need? What do you need? What can I do? What can I do? I wrote my piece. Can I talk more? I'll share information. That's the only thing I am good at. That was number 3 for today's Friday 5 live at 5. All right, number 4. Prop 15. Do you guys understand Prop 15? I think this is like the property tax election. There's a lot of great property tax questions on this election. So just, if you don't mind, I'll explain a little bit. So property taxes are, of course, assessed at 1% for your assessed value of your property. So if you bought your house in like 1979 and you bought it for like $25,000, which you could in like Ocean Beach or La Jolla, $30,000, then it was assessed at 1% per year, which is what? $300. So that could go up. Your assessed value of your place could only go up 2% after 1978 per year. And so you have some neighbors who live next to people who are paying like $6,000 a year in taxes, and they've got a similar house, and you're paying, because you've had that house for like 40 years, you're paying like $600 or $700. So there's a that we've been talking about this for decades, since Prop 13 was passed. Now, the problem, or the thing about that, is that a lot of people really like that and don't want to lose that benefit. It's thousands of dollars a year, so they really like it. And so it's not a popular thing, even though the left progressives have been trying to throw that out for 4 decades, trying to advocate against it, do research against it, talk about what's wrong with it. That's Prop 13. It's kind of the law because of how popular it is among those folks. So what they came up with a while ago, several years ago, is when I first heard the term. They came up with an idea to just a sec. Hey, kids, they need to leave. Just go. All right. They came up with this idea called split roll, where they would say, like, okay, we're going to split it. Residential, you can still have that benefit. You can still keep your tax basis. But We're going to make commercial properties, hotels, shopping centers, not apartment buildings, no residential. We're going to make hotels, shopping centers, anything worth more than $3 million that you own, you're going to have to start paying property tax based on what its actual market value is, phased in starting in 2022. Got it? That's Prop 15. Now, again, that has been the priority for progressives in the state of California, in particular public employee unions, the teachers union, the SEIUs, all of those groups, they've been wanting to change that for decades. It's been a top priority. They finally get it on the ballot. It's Prop 15. So you'd think that because of this emphasis from some of their top supporters, the Democrats would be lined up for this. They are not locally. San Diego city politicians are not so into it. We've got Barbara Breed running for mayor, not going to support it, totally against it. She says it's not the right time to raise taxes. In fact, she says it's, but she did say she would be potentially considering supporting Measure A, which is a tax increase also on property. But so apparently it's okay to raise that tax during this whole situation. Anyway, Barbara Breed, Todd Gloria said he couldn't endorse either way, which means he doesn't support it. Prop 15. Todd Gloria also running for mayor, not in support. Marnie Von Wilpert talked about how great it was, how important it was, still wouldn't support it. Joe LaCava running for city council, District 1, San Diego City Council, against it. His opponent, Will Moore, running for city council, District 1, supports it. But he also has the support of a lot of the major business organizations in town. The Building Industry Association, the Chamber of Commerce. Local politics is bananas, man. It goes all sorts of ways. So that's Prop 15. A lot of that came out in PolitiFest this year. We did 36 different sessions, debates like the city council races. A lot of that was discussed, and that's where a lot of these revelations about how the Democrats feel about Prop 15 came out in PolitiFest. We're going to post a link to all the PolitiFest content, which is now available to everyone. PolitiFest 2020. Go check it out. You can watch all of these debates. You can follow that. Do you have any questions on the measures or on the candidates? I'm here for you. That's what Friday 5 Live at 5 is here for. I believe in you. I care about you. I want you to make good choices. Whatever I can do to help, I'm here to help. So check that out. PolitiFest-2020 at VOSD.org. All right. The last story of the week. Pacers Restaurant will be closed tonight. Sorry for the inconvenience. Pacers Restaurant, that's known as a restaurant, of course, in Midway. Pacers Restaurant announced that it was announced to the whole community that its restaurant was going to be closed. Of course, Pacers is known for adult entertainment. Now, none of us would be talking about Pacers if it weren't for the fact that Tommy Pham, the star left fielder for the Padres, was stabbed at Pacers. Now, when the Union Tribune announced this news, it announced the news with this headline. It said, Padres say Tommy Pham is in good condition after stabbing, surgery. Padres say Tommy Pham is in good condition after stabbing, surgery. Now, none of us had heard he'd gotten stabbed, so the good condition part was quite a lead. He's in good condition. Wait, what? What happened? Oh, he's in good condition. What are you talking about? Did something happen? So it turns out Tommy Pham, the star left fielder for the San Diego Padres, the Padres, was stabbed at a strip club, which brought up two questions. Wait, he was stabbed? What? What happened? And he's okay? And then the second question that came up was, wait, strip clubs are open? Which for me was hard because my school is not open. My kid's school is not open. So why was there a strip club open? In a world where it's not healthy enough to have schools open, Don't have the strip clubs open where people are yelling and throwing stuff, and it's the ventilation's maybe not the best. It's maybe not the highest quality ventilation. And it's probably not outdoors. What is a strip club doing open? Why is the San Diego Padres star left fielder there? What is happening? Well, the answers started coming. First of all, the UT didn't announce it was at a strip club. They said first that was the incident happened. He was leaving an establishment. What a great word, establishment. Nobody says establishment unless it's about a strip club, do they? Do they? Like, so that means he knew it was a strip club, because nobody's just, if he didn't know, he'd be like, well, I don't know. It's not clear where he was, but he said he was leaving an establishment. Okay, wink, wink. We got you, an establishment. So then the article was updated, and it kept getting more interesting. It was a 12-inch stab wound, 5 inches wide. What? What? So again, I'm like, why is the strip club open? What's he doing there? Not the greatest ventilation. Finally, Gustavo Solis, our friend at the Union Tribune, also participated moderating the Chula Vista City Council debate at PolitiFest. Love Gustavo. Gustavo had a story about why strip clubs are open. Great idea. Why are strip clubs open? And the police come back and the county come back and they say, oh, the strip clubs aren't open. And you're like, well, but but Pacers was open. Guy got stabbed there. He's the starting left fielder for the Padres. And they're like, well, they can be open as a restaurant. Thus, why Pacers says it's a restaurant. It's like Denny's. So they say the restaurant can be open. And then there was this wonderful quote from the piece, Gustavo Solis, the Union Tribune, quote, there are some gray areas. For example, Lieutenant Takeuchi wasn't sure, this is a spokesperson for the San Diego Police Department, wasn't sure if waitresses could be topless while serving customers food. Unclear. Public health order. It's unclear on the topless serving of the food with the virus around. Okay. But it was later determined that they were, in fact, doing more than serving food naked. They were doing the things you do in strip clubs naked. Now, remember, strip clubs in San Diego were the original creators of the 6-foot rule. You remember this, right? Remember, there were lobbyists that wanted to change that rule. You couldn't have lap dances in San Diego, and they wanted to change that rule. So they tried to grease the skids at City Hall. Campaign donations. There was a little actual cash. That became the Cheetahgate scandal. One city councilman, Ralph Nzunzu, went to prison for a couple years. He got out. Michael Zucchet was convicted, but the conviction was thrown out. He was fully acquitted. Nothing happened to him. Charles Lewis, the other person investigated for that, he passed away 2004. That was when I first started reporting about San Diego. It was crazy. It was so weird around here. Anyway, 6-foot rule has been in place. The 6-foot rule. So strip clubs know what they're supposed to be doing with the 6 feet. But it was open. Restaurant. All right. Any questions on the ballot? Because strippers can guarantee 6-foot distance. They probably have better air filters, ventilation than many public schools. Do they? I don't know. I'm sorry, I've been to a couple. They didn't seem like very well ventilated places. They seem like a place that a virus would do well in. No problem. Everybody, the virus is hard to contain. It's not their fault. I'm just saying, it seems like, seems like a tough place to. But get the fans open, get the windows open. Maybe we can get strip clubs open. I'm a little bit worried about schools still. Check out my piece on ventilation, on masks. I'm very proud of it. Got good feedback. Would love to hear your thoughts. All right. I'm going to be doing a Reddit Ask Me Anything. So a written version of people asking questions. That's 2 p.m. on Reddit on the R San Diego feed. 2 p.m. on Monday. Sorry, that's the day. Monday. If you want to see written answers to your ballot questions. I think that's about it. I've got to finish the politics report. If you care about this stuff, you should read the politics report. It runs every Saturday, comes out in the morning, 7 a.m. in your inbox. If you care about this kind of stuff, you should obviously read the politics report. Like there's not a lot of you, but the ones that are out there, this is your thing. Oh, here we got a question. Scott, how's the outbreak suit going? Any insight into how many of our outbreaks have come from outdoor settings? Great question, Justin. So, for background, we have sued along with the Union Tribune and KPBS. They both joined the suit. The County of San Diego, demanding more information about their outbreak data. For instance, yesterday they announced 17 new outbreaks. So the way they define outbreaks is that if you have the virus, somebody else has the virus, and another person has the virus, and you all three go to the same place over a 14-day period, they consider that an outbreak. And so they identify all the outbreaks, and that is what they put up. And they've missed their triggers since the very beginning of this crisis, hitting that outbreak. So we want more information to find out what they're talking about with outbreaks. Where are they? Why is this happening? Why can't you control them? What's your problem with these outbreaks? Like, what are you doing about them? And where are they so that we can do better about adapting to them? So the bottom line is we have filed our briefs. There's a hearing getting scheduled so that the judge can look at our brief and look at their brief and decide. Now, their point is like, hey, we're busy. We can't handle handing you that information. Also, it would be their other argument was that it would do more harm to the public if we let you have that information than if you have that information, which makes you wonder what good the information is if it's bad to see, if it hurts to see. Like, what are you doing? What is that? That makes me want it more. That makes me want it more. Because if we're being judged by it, we should know what we're being judged by. So as for outdoor, no, they have not identified a single one that has occurred outdoor. Now, they cite different restaurants that have gotten it, and restaurants are operating partly outdoor, but they have not. That's part of the reason we want it. We want to know, is there any being cited outdoor? But no, none of the protests, none of the beaches, none of the uh, parties the Padres had when they were back, none of that has seemed to indicate any kind of transmission, which is why I think we should, at least for now, feel pretty comfortable about outdoors. Now, we went out to dinner for the first time outdoors. Jimmy's Tavern at the Bay. It's pretty good. It's good. It's a nice setting. I love the Bay. I love it. I love the ocean. All right. I should probably go. I will leave you again with one more pick. Speaking of ocean, let me take this off. This is that channel that goes out by Dog Beach. There's a ton of halibut in there, by the way. I have learned this. I've only caught a few of them. It can get wild. I'm still really nervous when I catch a fish, so I'm like, what do I do? And rush to put it back. But I'm gonna catch a legal halibut someday, maybe. I don't know. All right. Love you all. Have a good weekend. I got to finish the politics report. You want to sign up for that at voiceofsandiego.org. Thank you all, and we will talk to you on Wednesday.